I found that one, it wasn't just creators living together. It was a business model that they had pitched, that they actually had investors fund, including investors like Gary Vee, who funded and put money behind this business model. Welcome to the A1 podcast. I am your host, Moi Oloruntoba, and I am so glad you are joining me today. We're going to tackle the age-old question. I don't know if it's really age-old or I'm just being a little dramatic, but we're going to go into the question, is content creation a business? Now, if this is your first time on the podcast, welcome. It's great to have you. This podcast is all about the business of content creation, especially in Africa, but really a lot of this information can be used across the globe. And so if this is your vibe, if this is knowledge that you are liking, that is valuable to you, subscribe, click on that notification bell if you are on YouTube. If you're listening to this on any podcast platform, let us know by leaving us a review or by taking a screenshot of what you're listening to right now and posting it on social media and tag us at the a1.co. We will repost and show you some love as well. So I'm really glad you're joining me today because this question, I feel like, has had a little bit of debate in the creator world. I know I put out a tweet that some people were not too fond of because this is a while ago. This is maybe like 3 years or something ago when I said that I feel like with content creation, you should have some direction with where you want to take it. And some people are like, no, you should just have fun with it. Just see how it goes. Just do whatever, and just see where it takes you. So let's have this conversation. And remember, it is a conversation, so please share your input, share your knowledge as well in the comment section below, or by posting it on social media, tagging us at the a1.co, and we'll engage on social media as well. So the question, is content creation a business? The answer, in my opinion, is yes and no. So, okay, what do you mean? Give me one answer. I'll tell you why I say yes and no. Like anything else in life, you have a choice, right? You make the decision where you want your life to go, what you want to do, how you want to do it. You make that decision for yourself. And I think with content creation, one could go into it with just like, hey, let's see what happens. Which, not that you can't now, but I think now in 2022 and possibly upcoming years, there is more of an understanding of what it can become. So can content creation be a business? Yes and no. Let's start with the no. It's up to you. You can decide that I don't really want to do social media as a business. I want to have fun with it. I want to just put out content and just enjoy creating. Maybe you just want it to be a creative outlet because maybe you have a job that is very analytical, or maybe you work in the medical field, or you work in an industry that doesn't have that many creative outlets for you. And you're just like, you know what? I want to have fun with my social media. Then yes, it does not have to be a business. Then content creation is just content creation that you're putting out into the world. Just do know you are putting it out into the world for anyone and everyone to see and have an opinion on. So I do want to put that asterisk there. But essentially, it does not have to be a business. However, I do believe if there is ever a point where you started it just for fun and you're like, you know what, I actually want this to be an income stream for myself. I want to make money from it. I want to actually work with brands. I do want to be able to, do partnerships and deals. You now have to decide if you want this to be a side hustle or if you want this to be your main source of revenue. And if so, then yes, I do believe content creation is a business because you're now presenting yourself as a service provider to brands, as a service provider to a community of people. And all of that needs some form of structure that you need to be knowledgeable about. Brands and companies, when they're having deals with you, they're going to treat you like a business. They're going to treat you like a service provider. And so you need to know what that means. Otherwise, you will often get the short end of the stick. So I believe that the intentionality of the decision is important, because there's certain things that come into play whether or not you decide that you're going to make this a formal thing or not. Because if you are doing it for fun and then you want to make it into a side hustle, you don't necessarily want it to be your entire main source of revenue, but you do want to be able to accept some, money from it, some brand partnerships and all of that. That has to be recorded when you actually have to do your taxes. Like, that is a separate source of income that has to reflect when you have to, participate with the government, if I put it, if one puts it that way. And so there is a formality that comes into place automatically, whether or not you agree that this is going to be some form of business or not. That automatically happens, of which you have to now be knowledgeable about it. You have to understand the taxes behind it. But also, you also want to reap the benefits of doing that. I think the greatest benefit when it comes to content creation, the expenses you can write off as a business expense. There's certain things that within the lifestyle that I live as the founder, the managing director of my company, there's certain things I can write off. If you're a solopreneur, a freelancer, there's certain things you can write off as a business expense. So there's also advantages to formalizing the business side of things, because it helps you gain that advantage. Another key thing when it comes to is content creation a business is the fact that a lot of people admire individuals and other content creators who have made it into a business, and they see how those individuals are living. They see the opportunities they're getting. They see the houses they buy, the cars they drive, the phones, the things, the lifestyles that they live, but they don't understand the back end of it. Some of those things aren't necessarily as accessible if it's not a business, for example. There's this content creator called Jake Paul, very controversial. And I remember he had this group called Team 10. Jerry, do you know Team 10?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So Team 10, a group of creators, they were really one of the first individuals broke out and made, this whole living together, working together, creating together, really popular. And we used to look at that and be like, that is amazing. That is awesome. Back when we didn't really know much about what was going on there. And when I actually took time to understand the business model, I found that it wasn't just creators living together. It was a business model that they had pitched, that they actually had investors fund, including investors like Gary Vee, who funded and put money behind this business model. And I think when individuals don't really think about this industry of creating content, again, that perception of what is possible, what is achievable is a little bit warped, right? It's a little bit you don't really have full understanding of it, because somebody can work incredibly hard to have this, create a home and invite all their friends, and they're all going to put their money together and all of these things. Looking at a Jake Paul, for example, trying to emulate that. Meanwhile, Jake Paul just got investors. It's a business model. It has returns. It has investors. And I think a lot of the times when we just look at this content creation as just oh, I just want to have fun with it, that's where some of the problems come about. So is content creation a business? I would say yes. When it comes to making money, when it comes to working with individuals like companies, agencies, brands, even your community, whether you're charging them for a direct-to-consumer product or service, yes, it becomes a business. Does it have to be that? No. For the full version of this chat, make sure you check it out on all available podcast platforms. So let me know your thoughts by tagging me on social media at thea1.co. I really want to know what your thoughts are in regards to making the decision about content creation being just for fun or making it a business. Do you do it just to enjoy content creating? It's a creative outlet for you, or is it something that you want to or are making it a business, a source of revenue? I'm very curious. Let me know, comment section down below. So that is it for me. But if you've ever been curious about the cost of content creation, once you decide, yes, I want to formalize this, I want it to be a revenue stream, I think you need to click on this video right here about the cost of content creation, because there's a lot of costs that people don't necessarily take into consideration that they need to. So check that video right here. Click on it right here.